Okay, hi everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if anyone is joining us later, you will receive a recording of the workshop. So welcome to tonight's Food and Mood workshop. My name is Ailar, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so tonight's topic is going to be about what to eat for the winter blues. So how nutrition can help support your mental health, especially during the winter season. A little bit of information about me in case you haven't attended previous workshops. So my name is Ailar, and I'm a certified clinical nutritionist and a functional medicine provider. I work as a functional nutritionist at Pacific Integrative Psychiatry. I believe that food is medicine, so I help my clients and I help people optimize their wellness and their gut health by helping them create a personalized food plan. And we use precision laboratory testing to help identify and treat underlying imbalances and root causes. So I wanted to share a little bit about the types of services that we offer at Pacific Integrative Psychiatry. So we take a holistic approach and a whole body approach to mental health. We offer a variety of different services, such as psychiatry, which involves medication management and integrative treatment methods. We also offer psychotherapy, which involves coaching and mindset work. And I offer one-on-one functional nutrition consultations. And again, we offer a lot of laboratory testing that's really precise and can help us get to the root cause of imbalances in the body. And if you're interested in learning more about our practice and what makes us so unique, you can visit our website at pacificintegrativepsych.com. All right, so a little bit of information about what you can expect for tonight. So I host these free workshops once a month, typically on the third or fourth Wednesday of the month, and it's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The workshops are recorded, so in case you join later or if you're not able to attend live, we will send you a recording a few days later. Participation is encouraged and definitely welcome. So feel free to type your questions or comments in the chat box as we go along. And you should have received an email with a handout or worksheet that's going to be really useful to follow along and fill out as we go along during the workshop. And lastly, please make sure to respect each other's privacy. Some people may share some personal information during the workshop. And if possible, try to minimize any distractions. All right, so I wanted to do a little bit of a recap from last month's workshop if anyone was here. So we did a monthly experiment. One thing that you could take away, try at home on your own and see how it impacted your gut health and your mental health. So last workshop, we talked about new recipes, perhaps incorporating a new herb or spice such as turmeric, saffron. We talked about fermented foods and probiotics. We also discussed mindful eating or trying to eat slower for proper digestion. So if anyone was here at the last workshop, I'm curious to hear about your experiment. How did it go? Let me know in the chat box. You can type in your answers. And again, we'll continue to do a monthly experiment during each workshop, and you can report back the following month and let us know how it went. Okay. All right. So not seeing any answers. So maybe we don't have any repeat participants, but if you do decide to do an experiment this month, you can definitely come back to the next workshop and let us know how it went. All right, so here's a little bit of information about where we'll be going tonight, so what you can expect for the rest of the workshop. We'll talk about why we get winter blues and what really the winter blues are. We'll talk about nutrition and depression. So again, the link between our gut health and our mental health. I'll share a new recipe with you using one of the nutrients that we'll be talking about. And then again, we'll talk about a monthly experiment, something that you can take away and try at home on your own, something you can work on over the next month. And then at the end of the workshop, I'll open it up to a Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box as we go along, or you can share them with me in the end as well. Okay, so let's talk about the winter blues. So what are the winter blues and what are some of the most common symptoms? So symptoms of winter blues include things like loneliness, sadness, apathy, excessive sleepiness, irritability, and weight gain. And you'll kind of hear me use the term winter blues and depression interchangeably. They are very related, and you will notice similar symptoms in both cases. So I'm curious to hear from everyone. Do you experience any of these symptoms, especially in the winter time? If so, type a yes in the chat box. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the causes of winter blues and what really causes us to feel those symptoms or experience some of the symptoms that we saw earlier. So some of the main causes of winter blues include shorter daylight hours. So because of daylight savings, we might have less sunlight and we'll have longer darker hours. Poor sleep quality, social isolation, changes in our diet, and a lack of exercise. And one thing to know is that seasonal affective disorder, which is a common mood disorder that involves a lot of symptoms similar to depression, it affects approximately 10 million Americans. So if you do experience symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, it's important to know that you're not alone, and there are so many other people going through the same thing. And seasonal affective disorder actually affects women 4 times more likely than men. So women have a higher chance of being diagnosed. All right, but there is good news. So it's important to know that small changes or small differences that you can make in your lifestyle or in your diet can have a big impact. And these changes can help support both your mental health and your gut health over the holidays. All right, so now we'll get into talking about the link between nutrition and depression and how certain types of food you choose to eat during the holidays can help positively support your mental health and your gut health. And the key nutrients we'll be talking about today are omega-3s, polyphenols, and antioxidants. All right, so first let's start with omega-3s. So omega-3s are a type of fat, so they're referred to as the healthy fats in our diet. So you might be thinking, why should I be eating omega-3s, or why do I need them in my diet? Well, first, it's important to know that the brain is actually mostly made of water and fat. And the type of fat that makes up the brain is very similar to the type of fat that's found in fish oil. And omega-3s help reduce inflammation in the brain, which is associated with lower levels of depression and anxiety. So how can you incorporate omega-3s into your diet? Well, first, I recommend trying to pick 1 or 2 healthy fats to start with. Second step would be to choose one meal as a start. Sometimes if you try to change too many things or too many meals at once in your diet, it can be difficult to follow or to maintain. So choosing perhaps lunch or breakfast as a start. And a pro tip I would recommend is to use avocado oil for cooking. And this is because avocado oil has a very high smoke point. So the smoke point of avocado oil means that you can cook with it at very high temperatures, around 400 to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, without disrupting its structure. And avocado oil is actually very high in omega-3 fatty acids. All right, so the next nutrient we'll talk about are polyphenols. So polyphenols are a class of micronutrients that are found in plants. And what they can do is they can help improve the gut lining, and they can help improve our gut microbiome, which allows us to produce key hormones and neurotransmitters that positively affect our mental health. And polyphenols are also associated with a lower risk of anxiety and depression. So where can you find polyphenols in your diet? Well, here are some examples of foods that contain polyphenols, such as broccoli, olives, flax seeds, grapes, apples, berries, cherries, and almonds. So I want to hear from you guys. Does anyone eat these foods already? Do you incorporate them in your diet? Do you cook with them? If so, let me know in the chat. You can type a yes, or if there's a specific food, you can type that in the chat as well. All right, now the next category we'll talk about are antioxidants. So antioxidants are actually compounds that help fight free radicals in the body, and they help inhibit oxidation, which can actually be harmful for our brain and even our gut. So the antioxidants help reduce oxidative stress, and they can be found in certain types of foods. And we'll talk about the 3 examples that we have here. So we'll talk about blueberries, green tea, and dark chocolate. So first, blueberries. So blueberries are actually high in anthocyanins. They're also high in antioxidants. Anthocyanins are actually a plant-based pigment or flavonoid, and it's associated with lowering inflammation in the brain. So lower levels of inflammation can positively affect our mood, and they can help reduce depression. Blueberries are also rich in fiber, which helps them alleviate symptoms of constipation and bloating for us. So next, green tea. Green tea is also high in antioxidants, which helps reduce oxidative stress, helps fight free radicals, and it can help reduce our risk for depression or having symptoms of depression. And green tea is also helpful for soothing the digestive tract. You can have green tea after a meal, and a lot of people find that it helps soothe the digestive process and it helps alleviate a lot of GI issues. Lastly, dark chocolate. So dark chocolate is also similarly high in antioxidants. It's also rich in flavonoids, which are associated with, again, lowering inflammation in the brain. And it's been shown that dark chocolate can help with improving our mood and our cognition. As far as our gut health, dark chocolate can help with improving our gut microbiome. So with having higher amounts of good bacteria or healthy bacteria in the gut. So does anyone use blueberries, green tea, or chocolate regularly in their diet? Let me know in the chat. You can type a yes, or you can let me know which one you use. Okay, so now I want to share a little bit about how you can actually use these nutrients as a part of your diet. So first, for blueberries, you can enjoy them fresh or frozen. So frozen blueberries are actually okay to use as long as you check the ingredients and make sure that there's no additives, no sugars added into the blueberries. So the ingredients should just read blueberries, and you can find them in most grocery stores. You can eat the blueberries by themselves, or you can add them into a meal, such as a salad or maybe a bowl of oatmeal. And we'll talk about a recipe idea that you should have received as a part of your worksheet for this workshop. And it's going to be a recipe for blueberry chia jam. So next, green tea. Drinking about half a cup or 100 milliliters of green tea every day should help you see the positive benefits as far as for your mental health and for your gut health. Dark chocolate, I recommend checking the ingredients and reading labels when you're looking for dark chocolate in the grocery stores. Trying to avoid long list of ingredients, looking for dark chocolate that is organic, is often healthier. And there's now dark chocolate that has been sweetened with coconut sugar compared to refined sugar, which can also be healthier. You can eat dark chocolate as a small piece by itself. You can have it as a healthy snack, or you can combine it along with some raw nuts or seeds, which can help add additional fiber and protein into your snack. All right, so you should have received the recipe idea for the blueberry chia jam. This recipe is really simple. It doesn't take very long to make, and it only has 3 ingredients. And the 3rd ingredient is optional. So the maple syrup helps add a little bit of extra sweetness, but all you need are blueberries and chia seeds. This recipe is vegan, gluten-free, and paleo if you're following a certain dietary pattern. You can refer to your worksheet for the instructions and the list of ingredients and how to prepare this. And some tips for enjoying the blueberry chia jam. You can serve it hot or cold. You can add it to a variety of different foods as well. For example, you can serve it with a slice of sourdough toast, with some raw peanut butter. You can add it into a bowl of plain oatmeal, or you can enjoy it with some plain yogurt. So now I want to hear from everyone. Do you have any ideas for how you plan on enjoying your chia jam? If so, let me know in the chat. If you have any fun recipe ideas, or if you've already tried making the jam too, I want to hear how that turned out. Okay, so Nishi said, I would love to try it with oatmeal or granola. That sounds really good. Yeah. Oatmeal is one of my favorite ways to enjoy the chia jam because oatmeal can be very bland and it doesn't have a lot of flavor. So when you add the chia jam to it, it helps incorporate extra fiber and it helps add a really nice sweetness to it without adding extra amounts of sugar. All right. Okay, so now we'll move on to the monthly experiment. So this is your chance to kind of try something new for the next month, something you want to try in your diet, your lifestyle, and it can involve any of the things we talked about today. So this can include whether it's increasing the amount of omega-3s in your diet, polyphenols, or maybe you're trying to eat more antioxidant-rich foods. So let me know in the chat if you plan on doing one of these things that we talked about. What type of experiment do you want to try, and how do you plan on incorporating it into your diet? And I encourage you to notice how it feels. So be curious. Does it improve your digestion? Is it improving your mood, your energy levels? You can take notes using a journal, or you can jot down notes in your phone. And then again, we'll check in next month with an update, and I want to hear from everyone and see how it went. So Ghazal said for the chia jam, it would be good with some hot tea. Yeah, tea is also a great way to use the chia jam. You can even add some extra fiber into your tea, which is kind of hard to do at times. And it helps also add really nice natural sweetness. And for the monthly experiment, you can even write this down on your worksheet. It's a really great place to take notes as far as everything that you're learning today, and you can write your experiment on there. Yeah, Nishi said, I would like to increase my intake of omega-3s. Yes, I think omega-3s are really important, and a lot of us don't get enough omega-3s in our diet. So I think it's a really important way to help improve our mental health, gut health, and you can do it whether it's through plant-based foods or animal foods like fish, salmon, sardines, tuna, or the plant-based sources of omega-3s, things like avocados, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. All right, great. So if anyone else has ideas for their monthly experiment, let me know in the chat. Oh yeah, okay. Hira said, it would be great to try my foods with omega-3s because the cooking can be done for the whole family. Yeah, exactly. And it's such a fun way to share with others how you can eat healthier and why you're choosing to eat healthier, right? So a lot of times we eat certain foods because we think they're healthy, but knowing why they're healthy and how they can positively affect your gut health and mental health is really important, because that way you can start to pay attention and you can be more aware of your body letting you know that this is actually healthy for you. All right, great. So if anyone else has ideas, please let me know in the chat and we'll take a look at them as we go along. All right, so here's a little bit of a recap of where we went tonight. So we talked about the holidays and the winter blues. We talked about what the winter blues are and common symptoms and causes of winter blues. We talked about the connection between nutrition and depression and how certain types of nutrients in our diet can help improve our mental health. We talked about a simple recipe idea, the blueberry chia jam. And if anyone didn't receive the worksheet from tonight, please let us know and we can send that to you in an email. And then lastly, we talked about our monthly experiment. So something new that you can try, especially over the holidays. It can be really fun, and you can talk about it with your friends or family. Okay, so now we are at the Q&A portion of the workshop. I welcome you to turn on your cameras if you feel comfortable, or even your audio to ask a question. You can also write your questions in the chat and I can answer them there. If you have any ideas or recommendations for a future workshop that you would like to see, please let us know. You can send us an email, or you can let us know in the chat here. Our practice focuses on gut health, nutrition, and also mental health and sleep. So any of these topics are definitely welcome, and we will be doing future workshops, so let us know. And I see patients, I'm taking on new clients at Pacific Integrative Psychiatry. So I work as a functional nutritionist. If you're interested in scheduling a free discovery call with our practice, you can visit pacificintegrativepsych.com. The website is here on this slide. Or you can schedule an initial consultation with me through our website as well, or by contacting us. Yeah, and here is said for her monthly experiment, she is thinking about making more fish and cooking with avocado oil. Yeah, I think avocado oil is a really good replacement for any oil that you cook with because it's so high in omega-3 fatty acids and because it has such a high smoke point. All right, does anyone have any questions about nutrition, winter blues, gut health?
Hey, Ailar, I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you for that presentation. That was really great. It's so interesting. And I'm curious, we're talking about food for winter blues. Just in your own practice, seeing patients, do you have specific nutritional recommendations that you give your patients for different seasons, like how they might want to modify their diet in the summer versus the winter, given some of the mood issues that might change across the year or energy issues and things like that? I'm just curious what your approach is to that.
Yeah, that's such a great question. And it really does come down to taking that more individualized approach rather than thinking we should be following the same type of diet or lifestyle pattern all year long, especially when we talk about winter blues and how a lot of people become less active in the winter time. So they're exercising less, they might have worse sleep quality, and that usually leads to eating differently, especially eating more carbohydrates, sugary foods, even increased calorie intake. So usually my recommendations having to do with the winter season, for example, would be different, especially supporting your body with proper amounts of fiber, protein, healthy fats, trying to moderate the amounts of the carbohydrates and sugars. And it can also be really helpful to utilize some of the testing that we offer. So for example, if someone's mood is changing around the winter time, for example, they're experiencing greater amounts of depression or anxiety, it can be a sign that their brain is under higher amounts of oxidative stress. And we have testing that can show that. So we can do a blood test and it tells us how much oxidative stress is their brain undergoing or their body is undergoing. And we can see what type of nutrients can help support their body. So whether it's through supplementation or increasing the amounts of antioxidant rich foods. So it can really depend. And the testing is a really great way to help us find out more information or get more down to the root cause of the imbalances that might be going on that are contributing to the changes in their mood. All right, great question. Any other questions? Yeah, and one of the most, common things that I hear from clients is how they do stop exercising as much around the winter time, especially because of the changes in daylight savings time. So, you wake up and it's dark outside, you finish your workday and it's dark outside. So exercise can also be a really important part of our gut health and mental health. And it's, been shown to help reduce oxidative stress, reduce inflammation. So getting into that exercise routine or talking to a healthcare provider or a functional nutritionist that can help you come up with an individualized approach to exercising more consistently and also finding the right type of nutrients that can support your body for reaching that exercise goal and also for building muscle. So a lot of people are doing strength training exercises, but they're not getting the proper nutrients that they need to properly build those muscles. They may not be staying hydrated, and hydration is actually really important for our brain health, our mental health, because the brain is also mostly made up of water as well. All right, so if anyone doesn't have, so if nobody has any further questions, okay, I see one more. Kazal said, what can I eat to increase energy levels in the winter? Yeah, that's a really great question, especially if you start to experience symptoms of winter blues or depression. So how can you properly support your body to get more energy? So Eating, again, adequate amounts of protein and healthy fats. So the protein and healthy fats are going to provide our bodies with more sustainable energy. Animal sources of protein, things like fish, chicken, eggs. Plant-based sources would be things like beans, lentils, nuts and seeds, tofu, tempeh. So all of these are really great sources of protein, and our body needs these amino acids to get energy, and also providing the right amount of healthy fats, so the omega-3 acids that we talked about. Now, not only do we want to consume the foods that give us energy, we want to kind of limit the foods that might deplete our energy or kind of cause more of the crash or the fatigue that comes about. So a lot of people notice that when they eat more carbohydrates or they eat a lot of sugary foods, they tend to have a lot of fluctuations in their energy levels. So they tend to feel really energized and happy, and then all of a sudden they have a crash later on that day. So trying to eat the carbohydrates and sugars really in moderation, and making sure that you're combining your carbohydrates with a protein in your meals. For example, when you have a piece of bread, breaks down into sugars, elevates your blood sugars. And in order to prevent that from happening and to help your blood sugars stay well controlled, it's important to combine that piece of bread with a protein. Let's say you add some peanut butter or eggs to it. So those would be some of my main recommendations. And again, it can vary for individuals. So having a personalized approach to it, scheduling a consultation, talking to a functional nutritionist can really help you figure out what type of nutrients does your body need or is lacking, especially certain vitamins and minerals. In the case of a plant-based diet, you might need extra B vitamins, or you might need more iron, right? And we want to figure out how much of that does your body need and how to properly support it. All right. Any other questions? Okay, now is drinking wine helpful in the winter? Yeah, so that's a really great question. And I know especially during the holidays, drinking alcohol can be more common. So drinking wine in moderation can be okay. But again, if you are consuming alcohol, it's really important to talk to your healthcare provider, given your background, your medical history, to see whether or not drinking alcohol or how much alcohol may be appropriate for you. Red wine does contain some amounts of sugars. It can help with relaxation in certain cases. But again, alcohol in moderation can be okay. But it's important to know that alcohol can also dehydrate you. It can affect your digestion differently. So the answer, I would say, can vary for different individuals. If you are consuming alcohol, make sure to talk to your doctor to see how much alcohol you can be consuming or whether or not it's okay for you. And if you are drinking alcohol, make sure to stay hydrated, because it can really dehydrate your gut, your brain, and your body overall. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, or you can visit our website at pacificintegrativepsych.com. We'll be having these workshops once a month, so I hope to see you all again next time. And I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year.